Dear respected Thầy, dear beloved community, can you hear me okay in the very back? Yes? How is the Vietnamese translation? Are you able to hear the Vietnamese translation? Wonderful, thank you. Today is November 17th in the year 2024, and we are sitting in the Ocean of Peace Meditation Hall at Deer Park Monastery in California. My name is Sister Nghiem, and my pronouns are she and her. And today, it's my turn to give the Dharma talk. The Sangha decided, and I just follow. I just wanted to express my deepest gratitude to the Dharma teachers for giving me the theme, the miracle of mindfulness, to talk about today. Since Tuesday, I have a flu. I cough, stuffy nose, difficult to breathe at times, and had to wake up multiple times at night just to keep myself hydrated. And the title of the talk or the title of the book just came up to me all these moments. The miracle of mindfulness. The miracle of mindfulness. And that helped me to be in the present moment and touch the miracle of mindfulness. And I thought to myself, imagine if the theme of my Dharma talk is anger. Late at night, anger, fear. Oh, that would be a completely different feeling. Today is a very special day because we have 42 people receiving the 14 mindfulness trainings. Yes, flowers. I heard there are 8 monastics, 8 novices, and I think 35 or 36 friends. 5 will be receiving over Zoom, and the rest of you will receive them here. It is quite a diverse group receiving the 14 mindfulness trainings this year. We have 10 Vietnamese speaking friends from Sâm Dừa, Nụ Hồng, Sâm Xoài. Please forgive me if I miss some of your Sangha names. We have friends flying in from Mexico, from Canada. Most of us are from United States. And they all arrive here on Wednesday, practicing with the multifold community. And we hope that the past few days you have experienced the miracle of mindfulness with the monastics as well as retreatants here at Deer Park Monastery. For those of us who have followed Thay's teachings, we know the history of 14 mindfulness trainings. They were created by Thay during the Vietnam War in 1960s. May I ask those of you who received the trainings, the 14 mindfulness trainings before 1980s, could you please stand up? There are some, but maybe they are shy. We have some OGs in here. Before coming up here, Sister Abbas whispered to my ears, today we have a lot of Order of Interbeing members. And that's kind of scary. To give a Dharma talk in front of the monastic is the most difficult. To give a Dharma talk in front of the Order of Interbeing is the second most difficult. But I'm going to fake it until I make it. today. I know that one of the comforting sentence I often share to myself before I come up to give a Dharma talk is the purpose of the Sangha sitting here is to support, to love, and to care for the person sitting up here. So why should I feel fearful? Why should I have anxiety? Why should I be afraid? Because I know the whole Sangha is here to support not just me, but to support all of us on the path of practice. Is that correct? Thank you. So, dear monastics, there's no need to be afraid to sit up here. When I reflect on the 26 words of the alphabet, I ask myself, what is my favorite letter? And right away is the letter M. I ask myself this question because I have to give this Dharma talk. And the word miracle and mindfulness are both M's. But there are many, and not just but, and there are many other beautiful words that start with the letter M in English. So how can we find the miracle of mindfulness in the other M's that we experience, we touch, we offer in our daily life? So today, I would like to share about, as practitioners, whether we are monastics, Order of Interbeing members, or new, we all can experience the miracle. We all can be the miracle. We all can heal the miracle. Does miracle need a healing? Of course, because suffering, pain is a miracle. No mud, no lotus. They are the miracle. And lastly, we all need to continue the miracle. And before I continue, I'd like to ask for all of us, if you have your phone with you, please put on silent mode, or you could turn it off, or else I will have to do a lot of breathing up here. Which is nice. So when we look in the alphabet of the letter M, in the spiritual aspect, we see the word mindfulness, meditation, mantra, mandala, metta, which means loving kindness, mercy, merit, ministry, morality, miracle, metamorphosis, sự biến đổi, metamorphosis, from a caterpillar to a butterfly. That's a metamorphosis. From someone who often get angry, now we respond with peace. That's metamorphosis. Isn't that a miracle? So that's the spiritual part. And then the emotional related part, the letter M, we have the word motivation, marvel, modesty, momentum. We feel misery. Perhaps some of us are feeling misery right now. Mourning, modesty, mesmerization, magnanimity, marginalized. Mm. And then the daily usage, which the book Miracle of Mindfulness, Thầy invited us to bring mindfulness into the ordinary. Because Thầy shared with us, with mindfulness, we can fall in love with the ordinary. With mindfulness, we can fall in love with the ordinary. And what are some of the ordinaries that we consider as ordinary? But actually, they are extraordinary. They are wonders of life. Morning, right? Waking up this morning, I smile. 24 brand new hours are before me. I vow to live deeply in each moment and to look at all beings with the eyes of compassion. Morning, to be able to wake up in the morning is a miracle of mindfulness. Medicine. I've been having a flu. And if I did not have that cough medicine, that herbal medicine for me to take, I would still be very unwell and unable to sit up here. But when we have like ulcer in our stomach, and the doctor prescribes us antibiotics, we take it and we feel it better right away. I can now eat my food. Wow, that is the miracle of mindfulness. So medicine, of course, if we take it properly with the doctor's permission and don't abuse it, is a miracle. Memories is also a miracle. Mindfulness means to be aware, to remember, to recollect, and to be attentive. Yes, the past is already gone, but in the sutra, discourse of knowing the better way to be alone, the Buddha taught us that being alone here, it doesn't mean that we are alone. Being alone here is when we are with other people, but we can maintain a practice of mindfulness. We can be beautiful, be ourselves. We can think about the past, but we are not caught in the past. The practitioner contemplate the body was like this in the past. The feelings were like this in the past. But the practitioner is not caught. That is the difference. So that the memories that we have created, that we have had with our loved ones, for many of us who left Vietnam at a very young age, as boat people, as immigrants, as refugees, we still remember our village, the countryside, the rice field, our childhood. Those beautiful memories continue to nourish us, and that love for our homeland is still there. And at the same time, we don't forget about the wonders of life that are present right here and right now. The blue sky, right? The birds singing. The fact that we are alive is a miracle. So memories, preserve memories. That is a miracle. Meetings. Yeah, you're laughing. Meetings are not miracles. In the monasteries, if we don't have meetings, we won't be able to decide on anything. And with these meetings, we need to have consensus. There is disagreement in meetings, but at the very end, we come to a consensus to make the decision. And that is a miracle. When we bring mindfulness into the meeting, that is a miracle. And perhaps what I'm about to say next can be very awkward for some of us or many of us, but to me, I think it's very natural. Another M that I consider as a sister that is a miracle is menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle. Because for women, if we don't have menstrual cycle, our health declines at a very young age, and we will develop osteoporosis and many health problems. So every month when that day comes, I celebrate. I say, I know you are here, and I'm so happy. So we have many things to celebrate, to see the miracles when we practice mindfulness, the daily thing. Let us listen to one sound of the bell. And we can feel breathing. We are sitting here with the Sangha, creating this beautiful moment together. To be able to drink water and not have sore throat or pharyngitis or laryngitis is so pleasant. Yeah. This book I'm holding, The Miracle of Mindfulness, it was written by Thầy, originally in Vietnamese, in 1973 in Seoul, France. As we know that during that time, the Vietnam War was still going on. And Thầy wrote long letters to Brother Quảng, a main staff member of the School of Youth for Social Services in Vietnam, in South Vietnam. And in this book, he offered concrete practices for his students in Vietnam to practice during this turmoil of the Vietnam War. And Thầy shared that Thầy practiced 10 years, practiced mindfulness 10 years before he wrote this book. So this is the book of the fruit of his practice. If we want to write something, please practice 10 years first before we write them. They lived, they practiced for 10 years. And he write all of these beautiful practices from belly breathing to peeling the orange, walking meditation, total relaxation. All of this in this book. And in 19th, and soon after that, Fellowship of Reconciliation published it in United States and titled it The Miracle of Being Awake. And Pax Christi titled it Be Still and Know. But only after it was accepted by Beacon Press, which is the publisher of this book, in 1975, did it receive its present title, The Miracle of Mindfulness. So thank you, Beacon Press, for giving it a very beautiful name. And in Vietnamese, they titled it Ý thức em mặt trời tỏ rạng. And I was very curious as I did some research on this book, as well as the origin of the word mindfulness. I thought to myself, who translated sati, which is in sati and smriti. As you see smriti up here, it means mindfulness. Who translated these two words into mindfulness? Do you know? Anyone here know? No, it wasn't Thầy. In 1881, it was Thomas William Rice Davis first translate sati and smriti into mindfulness. 1881. And we still, and these days, it is the practice of mindfulness that makes our life more beautiful. And we know how to live. It's not just to talk about mindfulness, but it's the practice of mindfulness. Thầy, his whole life, he kept on finding countless ways to encourage us to practice mindfulness. Whenever we are angry, take a walk. Step away from the person that we think is causing us anger. In our sitting meditation, come back to our breathing, come back to the body, and relax the body. All of this, they repeated for at least the last 50 years or more. So we are the continuation of Thầy. Let us experience the miracle. And why is mindfulness a miracle? I want to share with you a story. For me, why mindfulness is a miracle. When I was having lunch with a sister at Magnolia Grove Monastery one day, I was still having a lot of food on my plate. I usually get a lot of food, I chew quite slowly, and I like to talk after 2 sounds of the bell. So all these three often makes me the last one to leave the dining hall. And this sister, she already finished her lunch. And I don't like people sit there waiting for me to eat my lunch. I share with her, sister, please go home and rest. I can have my meal alone. And she said, no, it's okay. I like to hang out here a little bit and not rest right after I finish my lunch. This incident happened right after Thay's memorial service in 2022. And at that time, many monastics and lay friends shared about their beautiful memories with Thay, the teachings they received from Thay. For those of us who have been with Thay, even just 5 minutes with him, we remember it for the rest of our lives. Even Thay just pour us a cup of tea, we can find profound teaching in it. We can feel Thay's mindfulness, Thay's true presence. And at that time with my sister, I say to myself, imagine my sister is Thay. How would I cherish this moment right now? What teaching is Thay giving me? And so right at that moment, I consider my sister as Thay. And I say, oh, Thay is so compassionate. Thay is so patient. He's sitting here waiting for me to finish my meal. And I'm cherishing this every moment. Thay help me to marvel the mundane. That is a miracle of mindfulness. Marvel the mundane. I have sat and had lunch with my sisters, my brothers, the lay friends, and with so many people. And there was nothing so special about it. But on that day, I experienced such miracle that I remember for the rest of my life because I see this sister as Thay. And that reminds me that in my daily life, whoever I am with, consider that person as Thay. Then that moment is very different. Because when we are with Thay, we're so different. Our mindfulness just heighten, increase. The way we walk is very different. The way we talk, more lovingly and slowly. And we smile to Thay because we feel like Thay is watching my every move. Or Thay is knowing what I am thinking. Right? But Thay is not doing that. It's the energy of mindfulness in Thay. It's contagious. He transmits that energy to us. And there are people in our life that have that ability. And even if they don't have that ability, we can still visualize that person. Because like the Bodhisattva Sadapariputta, his teaching is that when we see someone, we are able to see the Buddha nature in that person, not disparaging anyone. Thay, in the book, Thay wrote that it is the miracle which can call back in a flash or dispersed mind and restore it to wholeness so that we can live each minute of life. Call back a flash of our dispersed mind and restore it to wholeness. If in our life we can do this experiment together for 1 week, we practice to recite miracle of mindfulness in every moment. Try it. When we brush our teeth, when we are driving, even when we are angry, when we watch the news of the post-election. Miracle of mindfulness. Just that statement, it can help us to react or to respond differently. That's what I've been doing the past week. Whenever I cough, miracle of mindfulness. Reading the news of the upcoming cabinet, miracle of mindfulness. That's all I can do right now, is to come back to my breathing. Yes, I know what is happening in this country. Yes, I'm very aware of what is happening in my body and in my mind. And I come back to take care of it. That's what they always want us to do, is to come back and take care and not fight. And I really like this part where they mentioned in the book that I find is so compassionate. A peace worker is like anyone else. If you are a medical professionals, and educators, monastics, parents, children, a peace worker is like anyone else. They must live their own life. Work is only a part of life. But work is life only when done in mindfulness. But work is life only when done in mindfulness. And mindfulness here is to be aware. When a colleague comes to us with a lot of irritation, how do we respond? So this is when we need to be the miracle. Our body sends a lot of message when we know that suffering, our body perhaps can predict what can happen next, right? Our body is very intelligent. Our body is a miracle. I felt it in my body before the election. I felt it. But perhaps I was in denial. I didn't want to continue to feel it. But this body is very intelligent. And we need to listen to this body so that when it's shaking, when it's shaking, we can hold something gently, firmly, with compassion, and do some movements, Tai Chi movements, to calm it. When the mind is so noisy, invite the body to do some movements, do walking meditation, or do some dance. do some dance, walking meditation to calm the body. I don't know if my flu is from the delay hypersensitivity response after the election. That's what one of the sisters jokingly said to me. But lying in my bed, feeling very unwell, I just say to myself, I'm here for you. And it's nice to have this experience because later on in your life, when you're bedridden, you have experience on how to care for yourself. So anything that comes to us is an opportunity. And I often remind myself this. We talk a lot about interbeing. You are me and I am you. This is because that is. I remember in 2016, there was this elderly couple from Batesville, Mississippi, who gave us cow manure since 2010. That was my first job being at Magnolia, asking for cow manure for the Sangha. So I called different places, and no one picked up. And then with the last call, this sweet voice picked up the phone, and she was in her 80s. And I asked, is it possible that we can have, do you have cow manure? She said, yes, we have cow manure. Is it possible we could have cow manure? She said, let me ask my husband. So the husband said yes, and we came over. There was this huge pile of cow manure. It was like gold rush for us. A garden without cow manure, you cannot do anything. And we took the cow manure, and the husband helped us. Before we left, we asked for his permission. In Vietnamese culture, to show our utmost respect to our elders, we would call our elders auntie or uncle. So is it okay that we call you uncle? And his eyes turned red. He said, not even my nieces and nephews call me uncle. This is call me by my name. So I'm very moved. Yes, you can call me uncle. And in 2016, by this time, we were quite close, and the election was happening. One day, I came over to visit them, and I asked her, do you plan to vote this election? She said, yes. And of course, with my tool being so open, I asked another question. And I love asking questions, and this is how I get in trouble. I asked, so who are you going to vote for? I'm not going to say who, okay? And she said, yes, I'm going to vote for this person. And of course, by this time, again, we're very close, and she asked me, so who are you going to vote for? And of course, I'm not going to vote for the person she voted for. So we end up like sharing who we're going to vote for, and we ended up voting for two completely different candidates. And at that time, my heart just froze. I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? What can I say now? And I held her hand. I remember this. I held her hand and I say, Auntie, these two people are not friends. They are somewhat like enemies. But you and I, we will forever continue to be friends. I will continue to come here to sing Happiness is Here and Now. Dear friends, and hold your hand. And she said, thank you. And we hugged and I left. Because over the years of practice, I always remind myself this. Conditions are already favorable. I am the last condition to make it manifest, beautifully or not. I am not the only condition, but I am the last condition. So right now, 2 people voting for 2 different candidates? Conditions are sufficient. I can either stand here, disagree, say, you're no longer my friend. I don't need any more cow manure. This is going to be the last time I come to your house. Or I can hold her hand and let her know that I will continue to be her friend. Which one should I choose? The choice is up to me. I am the last condition to make it manifest, beautifully or not. That's my choice. When we have the Buddha inside, when the energy of mindfulness is there, when Thay is present in our daily life, we live differently. So, dear Sangha, perhaps there is division going on in your family with your friends. Perhaps we are shocked, disappointed. But don't forget to see the humanity in these people once you've seen before you knew who they voted for. I have to remind myself this. When I think of my dad, when I think of my brother. Because I thought to myself, if I drive on the street and the engine is dead, who do I call? I'll call my dad and my brother to come and help me. At that time, I could care less who they voted for. That is the power of mindfulness. That's how we can continue the miracle and be the miracle. The word mindfulness is used extensively in the Buddha's teachings and in Thay's Dharma talks. In the 7 factors of awakening, mindfulness is one. In the 5 powers, mindfulness is also mentioned. In the 3 studies, mindfulness, concentration, and insight. Instead of using the word precepts, Thay used the word mindfulness. Because when we practice mindfulness, We are practicing the precepts. There are 2 trainings in the 5 mindfulness trainings that I find very close to my heart. When I was a novice, every time we recited the 14 mindfulness trainings, at that time I haven't received it yet. So every time we recited up to the 8th one, I would fall asleep. For some reason, I would just fall asleep, and then the sound of the bell, I would wake up. But after I received the 14 mindfulness trainings, I would be more awake. But still not yet feel anything yet. It was after the death of George Floyd that every word in the 14 mindfulness trainings continue to be bells of mindfulness for me, words of wisdom. I could feel it in my body, and I stay awake the whole transmission or the whole recitation. Non-attachment to views and awareness of suffering. As Order of Interbeing members, it is essential for us to practice non-attachment to views, to be open, and to give people the freedom, the right for freedom of thought. Not only do we dwell happily in the present moment, but we also need to be aware of the suffering. And suffering is everywhere now, in all continents. And it can be so overwhelming to be aware of the suffering, right? It's overwhelming. With what is happening in Sudan, women escape war. And in order for them to live now, they are forced to have sex to survive. Multiple wars, climate crisis. It is not difficult to be aware of the suffering. But in the trainings, there is no sentence in the training that say that we should be despair, we should have despair. No. Please don't think that in order for us to care, we have to worry. No. We don't have to worry. It doesn't mean that we don't care. We care a lot. But that doesn't mean that we have to be so worried and anxious about what's going to happen next, because that will not solve anything. When I knew that Black men in America receive so much brutality, harm, their lives are in danger. And on the news, when I first came to America, it continued to have images of Black men, robbery, gun violence, all of that. But with the awareness of suffering and practicing non-attachment to view, I see Black men differently. I practice what the Bodhisattva Sadariputta teaches us, to see that person has Buddha nature. One day, while taking my sister to a DMV for her to get her driver's license test, I saw this Black man, very friendly. We met in the parking lot. He said hi. I say hi. I say hi. He say, hi, how are you doing? I say, I'm well, and how are you doing? And I asked him, what is your name? And he said, James Bond. Right away, I thought to myself, isn't that the movie, like James Bond 007? And I said, no, you're playing with me. Your name is not James Bond. I say, yes, I'm James Bond. He took out his ID. And he showed me, see, my name is James Bond. Wow, for the first time in my life, I met James Bond. And he opened to me and he shared, I just got out of the hospital. I'm so thankful to God I am alive. Many of my loved ones had the same sickness as me, but they couldn't make it. And I'm here alive. I'm able to walk. Thank God. We gave each other a hug. And we took a picture together. It's so nice to take a picture with real James Bond. That is the power of practicing non-attachment to views and aware of the suffering. Aware of the suffering. And then what can we do in our daily life? Just in our daily life. A local level, at home. So that we can remove our preconceived ideas, views. In the book, The Miracle of Mindfulness, they share about a story of the emperor based on Leo Tolstoy's story. Anyone know that story? May I ask, how many of you here have read The Miracle of Mindfulness? Okay, so you know if I say something wrong. And you can approach me afterward and help me, please. The story is about the emperor who gave a decree asking people to respond to his 3 questions. What is the best time to do each thing? Who are the most important people to work with? What is the most important thing to do at all times? He was able to find the answer when he went to visit the hermit. He disguised himself. And perhaps you could predict what the hermits say, right? If you want to know, please read the book, The Miracle of Mindfulness. But it's everything that they taught. What is the best time to do each thing? Like right now for me, right now, the best time is to give the Dharma talk. Who are the most important people to work with? You all are the most important people in my life. There are sisters when they are with the lay friends giving consultation, and the brothers too. They are fully present. They are practicing. The person in front of me is the most important person in my life right now. Person beside me. What is the most important thing to do at all times? For me, is to share my practice with you. And for you, is to listen. That is the most important thing to do right now. And we do this, we ask ourselves these 3 questions. When we drive the car, when we talk on the phone with someone, when we brush our teeth. The dentist recommended us to brush our teeth at least 2 minutes. So for 2 minutes, ask ourselves these questions. When our mind is so present with teeth brushing, it does not have space to think about the upcoming cabinet. Give ourselves that 2 minutes. It's okay. It's okay not to think about it. It doesn't mean that we don't care about this country. We love this country. But that doesn't mean that we need to consume the news all the time. Again, we don't worry. It doesn't mean we don't care. And in the book, Thay wrote, remember that there is only one important time. And that is, can we say it? Okay, I will repeat. Remember that there is only one important time, and that is? That's not loud enough. Remember that there is only one important time, and that is? Now. Yes. The present moment is the only time over which we have the dominant. The most important person is always the person you are with. And when we are by ourselves, we ask ourselves, who is the most important person right now? Me. And me starts with the letter M. Isn't that wonderful? Who is right before you, for who knows if you will have dealings with any other person in the future. The most important pursuit is making the person standing at your side happy. For that done alone is the pursuit of life. Dear Sangha, is not just person, but it's Mother Earth. The trees, the cards, right? Things that we hold in our hands, our passport, our credit card. These are miracles. Imagine if we go to the airport and we couldn't find our passport or real ID. Woo! Anxiety, right? So next time we hold that in our hands, remind ourselves, this is a miracle. Let's continue the miracle. I'd like to end my Dharma talk with just another short story. And this time, I invite all of us to observe our own mind, our own images. Because whenever we hear a story, we would have images like video clips happening in our own mind at the same time, right? When I was in Lower Hamlet in September, while having my breakfast, I came to the dining hall. I look around. Where can I sit? I saw this lay friend sitting by themselves at the table. I came and sat next to them. Then 2 other sisters came. We were having our breakfast in silence. One sister was eating her oranges, and she accidentally dropped another piece of orange on the floor. And then 2 minutes later, the friend beside me stood up and walked away. Right away, my mind was racing, asking, where is this person going? Can't they dwell happily in the present moment? This judging mind. Then the friend came back with a piece of orange. Gave to our sister. And we all look at this person, smile with so much gratitude and happiness. This person was offering joy to one person in the morning with a very simple act of kindness. Now, my question to you is, what gender do you think that friend is? What race do you think that friend is? No, we have to be specific. Who is it? What comes up in your head? When we think of someone doing kindness, image of who come up? What gender? What ethnicities? What race? In this case, it was a black man who came to Lower Hamlet with his partner to practice with us for 1 week. So, dear friends, let us be open our eyes to see the miracles, to preserve these moments, these memories with mindfulness so they can be miracles. Thank you so much, dear Sangha, for your listening. Let us listen to 3 sounds of the bell.